Hi, my name is Matthew Weiner. I'm the owner and founder of the Weiner Group. We are in partnership with Equus Financial and Integrity Marketing Group, which are very large marketing organizations for some of the nation's largest insurance companies, and actually some in some cases largest insurance companies in the world. Companies like Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, Gerber Life Insurance, CVS, just like the pharmacy, they actually have life insurance products as well, and many other companies that have been in business for over 100 years. If you are watching this video right now, you've probably either been given this by somebody on our team, or perhaps you saw an online ad looking to potentially be a sales representative or potentially even a sales manager within our organization. Before we get into the details of our opportunity, I really want to take the time just to give you a little bit of background on myself, as I think it's going to be very important for you to understand what the potential of this opportunity could be for yourself. And maybe give you some idea as well as to whether or not you as an individual would be the right fit for our culture. In 2017, I was working at Walmart. At this time in my life, I somewhat recently graduated high school with a 2.6 GPA and took 3 years to get a 2 year community college degree. Me and my wife had both gotten to our first big boy, big girl jobs, making $18 an hour, and I leveled that up to $22 an hour when I was working at Walmart in 2017. And we thought the one making that leap in our income after working minimum wage, that man, we were just going to be on top of the world financially. Come to find, we entered a rat race. We got kicked out of our based on income apartments because, of course, we were making too much money. Had to find a new place to get into, and immediately the wheels started turning, and we were just hamsters just churning on a wheel. I recognized that we were in this situation that we were never going to get out of, and I realized that I was going to grow up and just be very much like my mom and dad, who I love and respect dearly. But I just, from a financial standpoint and from a stress standpoint and overall lifestyle, I did not want to be in their shoes. Um, and I realized as well that, and maybe this is something you can connect with, in all the environments that I had been in a corporate setting or retail, I was always willing to give more than others. I showed up on time. I was committed. I was dedicated. I served others above myself, and I found myself kind of doing the right thing. Whereas a lot of my peers, they were maybe a little more self-centered. They would call off and they say they were sick and they really weren't, and just kind of take advantage of some of the provisions that companies would give them. And they kind of had this purview that they were under some sort of, I don't know, like the company was taking advantage of them. Whereas I was always grateful to have an opportunity, but I also knew that I was getting grossly underpaid in proportion to what I was willing to do, because I knew I had a great work ethic. I knew I was extremely motivated. I knew that I was coachable, and I knew that if given the right circumstances, given the right mentorship and the right environment, I could thrive. And so, if that's descriptive of you at all, this may be a good fit. People that thrive with us, that do really well, they're business-minded individuals. They value their own independence, meaning they want to be put in an environment where they are their own boss, maybe not exclusively working by themselves, but having a partnership with somebody that's going to be supporting them where they work for themselves, but not wholly by themselves. They're self-disciplined and motivated, and they understand the value that money brings to them. Not just that it's a way for you to pay your bills or to make things, to pay for a vacation, but that can actually be a tool for you to use to make more money, right? And they desire to, like myself, get out of the rat race and earn a much higher level of freedom than what they currently have. I would say that people that do really well with us, they see themselves as being the greatest asset for them to invest in, and that they're eager for an opportunity to see what they're truly worth and have a desire to really reach their full potential. I know growing up personally, I was never certain of what I wanted to do as an adult, but I knew that I wanted to be a professional. I wanted to be recognized as somebody that was great at what they were doing and respected in that sense, not in a prideful way, but in a way that I was able to deliver a lot of value to people. And in this role, I started in 2017. My first year in business, I made $106,000, and you heard my humble beginnings. I'd never had any background in this, but I was still able to go from making $2,200 a month at Walmart to between around $8,000 a month in 2018, which would have been my first year in business. In fact, the last 3 months in the year of 2018, last quarter of 2018, I made $46,000 alone, yielding $106,000 income for that year. Profited actually 83% of what I earned that year. And then right after that, I stepped into a leadership role, which I wish I had done a lot sooner. I had the opportunity to do that a lot sooner. In fact, I could have done it right out the gate. I didn't, because I didn't really understand our opportunity. And I stepped into a leadership role, and I actually found three people Scott, Don, and Matt. And those three people, their first year in business with me, they made in a range of 129,000 to upwards of 300,000. In the middle one there made 200,000. Their very first year in business with me, and that really lit me on fire, more so than me making my first sale and getting my first commission. Having the ability to transfer my skill to other people and see them get those results lit a passion in me that I had not experienced in quite some time. And so I went from being a producer that was, in September of 2018 was making about 6,000 to within 18 months, I climbed up the ranks and I was making about 20,000 within an 18-month period. I started making $20,000 a month in override income, which meant that I wasn't out there selling myself. I strictly hiring and training people. That has now grown into last year, we made $434,000. So if those results that I'm speaking of are something that really perk your ears and you want to have that sort of opportunity for yourself, let me tell you a little bit more about what we do and see if it's a good fit for you. Our industry, we work in the life insurance industry, as I had already mentioned. Last year, I want to share some stats on this because it's an amazing, amazing growth trajectory this industry has. Last year, the life insurance industry was valued at 1.93 trillion with a T dollars. It's expected to grow in the next 10 years an additional $2.81 trillion. So grow an additional $2.81 trillion, giving it a value of $4.74 trillion. That's the expected worth of the life insurance industry in the next 10 years. There is a huge transfer of wealth that's coming in this industry. And the biggest contributor to that is the baby boomer generation. Every single day, literally every single day, there's 10,000 people that are turning 65 or older, and they lose their benefits at work. They also have money tied up in like 401ks and IRAs that are subject to market conditions, and they can potentially lose their money. So that's a huge contributor to where the life insurance industry is heading to actually serve those people. We serve that market. We serve middle income people, folks that they don't really know where to turn to, and so we market them through a direct mail campaign, okay, called mortgage protection. So when somebody purchases, refinances, or gets a line of credit against their home, we send a mail piece to homeowners across the country to offer them a policy, a life insurance policy that would pay off their house if something happens to them, or also give them money if they get sick. Now, the reason we do the mortgage protection industry is because it's a very tried and true and turnkey system. It's also extremely duplicatable. That's what I've built my entire business through direct mail campaigns through mortgage protection. We sell a very specialized form of life insurance products through these companies called living benefit life insurance. You've probably never heard of living benefits before, which is kind of crazy. It's an industry secret. What living benefits do is if somebody has a heart attack, stroke, cancer, ALS, kidney failure, or several other critical, chronic, or terminal illness conditions, there are riders that are built into the life insurance policy for free. So if you're watching this video and you have a life insurance policy that's death benefit only, you could actually have a living benefit life insurance policy comparable to what you have right now. No changes to it in terms of like there's no change to the term period or how long it lasts. The living benefits are actually included in your policy for free. So literally you can pay the same premium as what you have for your traditional death benefit policy and have a living benefits plan for the exact same price. Oftentimes it's actually lower. And the reason we're able to accomplish that is we've compiled companies that frankly they have a worth or value that they can just afford to take the risk. That's just the blunt answer. They can afford to take the risk and it makes them more competitive and they gain more market share because of it, like those companies I had mentioned earlier. So your role here with us, you'd be a 1099 independent contractor. You'd be contracted as a general agent. Okay. There's writing agents and general agents in the life insurance industry. General agents have the ability to actually bring people into their team and you get paid, you can potentially get paid override income for that. So it's commission dollars that you get paid in addition to the people that are on your team. As a bonus, it get paid to you from the insurance company. Let's talk about training. So if you don't currently have a life insurance license, we'll help you obtain one. We have a discount code we can provide you through a company called Excel Solutions. Usually it's about a couple $100 for you to get into a pre-licensing course. The discount code we'll send you will knock that price down to like $40. You'll study online for a few days, go pass a state exam, get a background check. You got to have a somewhat clean background. If it was like a drug charge, it's like over 10 years ago, not a big deal. We could probably get you licensed. If you have criminal history like fraudulent or anything to do with fraud or theft, might be tough for you to get a license, but you would just need to check with your Department of Insurance. But if you could pass the background check, you can get a license, potentially a good fit for us. We train you one-on-one. So when you come on board to our team, let's say if you're getting hired directly by myself, I will take you personally under my wing, take you through our 7-step training program that gives you the basics of what you need to know to be able to go out there and offer these products in the middle incomes market. We do weekly training calls, a couple training calls a week, all sales oriented. We also do live appointments and live dials where you actually see our top producers live dialing the same leads that you would be dialing to fill your own calendar, and it's all done in full transparency. You see how everything is done, full stop. So you see our top producers dialing the leads, booking appointments, and you also see them running appointments. And I can't think of a better source of training than that. I wish, I'm kind of jealous today. I wish we had that back when I was doing this in 2017 up to like 2020. It was all in person. Today it's all remote. So wherever you live, wherever you're watching this video, you can get a license in your state. You can get licenses in many other states, as many licenses as you'd like to have. It's your license, you own it, and you can actually work anywhere. So most of my days I spend working from home. A lot of our producers, they'll take vacations. They'll decide they're going to take a trip down to Florida or wherever they want to go, and they can actually work from there, write the expense of the trip off as a business expense, and be able to work anywhere around the country. Most of our sales are just done over the phone. So we train you one on one. We have a great training system for getting you up and running, and we do all the work in front of you in real time, live on Zoom. So compensation. Let's talk about how you get compensated. So if you are a good-hearted individual and you want to go out there and do the right thing for people, you can make a substantial amount of money in this business. Like I mentioned, my best guy made $300,000 his first year in business with me. Last year, he made over $400,000 all override income. My manager, my mentor, actually, he was making about $2 million a year before he decided to actually sell his company. Which, by the way, if you're helping us create the distribution, you have that same opportunity. You have ownership over your company, and you can actually sell the assets within your company and potentially receive stock options for that as well. That's actually a pretty cool program. Sales commissions, right? So all of our compensation is commission driven. You get paid for selling products, and if you want to be a sales manager with us, we're still going to train you first on how to go out there and sell. And then we're going to provide you the marketing systems and train you on how to find good quality candidates that you can train, and we'll help you train them as well to help you level up through the levels of management. And anybody that's a good fit for being in a management role, we'll start you off at a higher commission level, give you some extra perks for coming in the door with that level, with that intention, and we'll provide you all the systems you need to help you go out there and help us create distribution. Sales commissions at a starting rate with us, you get paid a little over $500 per policy. Now the carriers we work with, it's all simplified issue business, meaning we don't do a medical exam. They check what's called the MIB, your driving record, your prescription history, make a decision, oftentimes in most cases instantly. So you'll be sitting with a client, you'll write a policy, you'll get an approval right on your screen, and within 48 hours, as long as there's no draft date listed, you'll get paid commissions to your bank account. Now the average upfront commission when you sell a policy with us is a little over $500 per policy. Realistically, if you're making a full-time commitment to something like this, a question I would have if I were in your shoes is like, okay, what's the potential? Like, how many policies can I really sell in a given week? My best week, I sold 23. Okay, we routinely have people that work, I would say 20 hours a week that are selling anywhere from 6 to 10 policies per week, working 20 to 25 hours a week. If you put more effort into it, obviously you'll get more outcome. My best week was 23. So a little over $500 per sale. Starting out, your commission rate will increase over time with your production, so that number will actually go up. Additionally, overrides. Overrides, every time somebody on your team sells a policy, the average override you make is anywhere from $100 to $200 per policy. Let's call it 150. Make it roughly $150 every time somebody on your team sells a policy. Additionally, there's producer bonuses. So as you go out there and sell, there's upwards of anywhere, it's as low as $150 to upwards of $5,000 per month in cash bonuses paid to you on a month-to-month basis. Also, manager bonuses. Manager bonuses range anywhere from, on the low end, the lowest tier is $750 per month. It goes up to $50,000 per month. Okay. We also do profit sharing. So I actually help agents buy leads with us. Those leads I mentioned for mortgage protection, they're extremely expensive to generate. The average lead it costs our IMO to make is around $110 is what it costs to generate a lead. We get access to those leads at a substantially discounted rate. Most of our agent force, they work leads that are in the price range of $5 per lead. You do buy the leads. We don't get them for free. They're extremely valuable, extremely expensive to create, but you're getting access to a good quality lead. I personally did not want to go tackle my friends and family or have to go door to door to sell things like this. If that is you, hey, more power to you. I love your hustle and respect it. I personally would rather work a proven lead system. That was just my philosophy. And it's not because I had money, it's because I wanted to use my money to make more money. If you have a lead system, you can get in contact with qualified buyers much more quickly and make money a lot faster. We do have a profit sharing program where I will match you on your first lead investment. So if you put in $200, I'll put in $200. We'll partner together. You will make sales on that first batch of leads. So between the expense of acquiring your license, which is between $150 to $200 depending on your state, leads, which is about $200, also errors and omissions insurance, which is like $60. Add all that together. The first sale you make, you're making all that upfront expense back and some profit, and then everything else from there is gravy. And between the match that we do, getting you $400 worth of leads, you will make sales on that first batch of leads. In fact, you should probably make about at least 3 sales, and that's assuming that you're going to start off being really bad at this because you're new at it. We also do trip incentives. So like this year, I'm taking a group of sales managers on our team on a cruise. So there's an incentive that we offered ourselves, and there's also carrier bonuses. So one of our top carriers, like Americo, they offer a 10% cashback bonus for over a 6-month period. So if you write $50,000 in business over a 6-month period, they'll actually cut you a check for $5,000. It's called the You First bonus. Most of our carriers have carrier bonuses like that. That's cash money deposited in your account in addition to your regular sales commission. So when you add all that up together and you have an understanding that what we do isn't necessarily easy, but definitely worthwhile, you can see how it is that you can make a substantial amount of money in a relatively short period of time.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I'm very appreciative of your time. I just want to say in closing here that there's a very particular type of individual that will be successful in this type of opportunity. And I want to lay out some last minute criteria to make sure that if you have intentions of moving forward, that you're willing to actually commit to the process we have here. Firstly, you need to have some money to be able to get an insurance license and really to get into leads. If you don't have any resources right now to make an investment in yourself, this is not going to be a good fit. Please don't bother reaching out. It's not going to work. Secondly, it's going to be training. You have to be willing to continue to invest in yourself in the form of training and bettering yourself. We're dealing with life and death matters with middle income people, that we cannot afford a situation where you, because of a lack of training in yourself and in the furtherment of your career here, that we leave these folks in a worse situation than we found them. That's not acceptable, and that does not meet our standards. Training is critically important, is the X factor. On July 18th, we have a training event in Phoenix, Arizona. We do quarterly training events that are in person, and we bounce around the country to reach different areas. If you're not willing to come to in-person training events, this is not a good fit. Do not bother texting us or trying to set up a time. You need to have a strong belief in yourself, right? You need to have a very strong belief in yourself that you will be successful. You just need the right environment to plug into. And lastly, we're looking for people that are loyal. You know, we're going to be engaging in a deep relationship that's I plan to carry on for a long period of time. And so I'm looking for people that, you know, if we bring value to you and we really invest in you and it is mutually beneficial, I'm going to ask for you to be loyal to us. And so if you're one of those folks that will come in, you have shiny object syndrome, you get easily distracted, and you'll jump from one opportunity to the next because you think the grass may be greener on the other side, this will not be a good fit. You have to be mentally tough, and you have to be committed to our process here. We have a full-fledged system that will produce results if you'll commit to it. So I just want to say I very much respect your time, and I hope you'll respect my time as well. If you need more research and time to investigate whether or not this is a good opportunity, visit theodoreagency.com. Research us online. There's plenty of resources out there for you to do a little more research up front to see whether or not you think this is a good fit for you. If you're ready to move forward, respond to the email or text message. However you receive this video, reply back to that individual, say I'm finished, and then set up a time to speak with myself or a member of our team. I look forward to speaking with you. Take care.